Welcome to the Board Wrap-Up Show for Ponca City Public Schools. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, and every month we sit down with Superintendent of Ponca City Public Schools, Shelley Arrott, and we chat about the school board meeting. And for this month, January, the first month of the second half of the school year, and a lot of things on the agenda at the January Board of Education meeting, and Superintendent Arrott is here to talk all about it. And January is National Board of Education Appreciation Month, and a wonderful Board of Education right here in Ponca City. Tell us about this right off the bat, showing
Right off the
appreciation for them.
bat, we recognized our board members. We have 5 men and women who are either appointed or elected to the position, but they are truly a volunteer, and they spend countless hours making decisions on policy and budget and doing what's in the best interest of our students and staff. So this morning, I would certainly like to recognize our board members and just talk a little bit about each one of them. And what was truly amazing about the board meeting is that every site sends some kind of goodie to the boards. We had a table set up on the side of the boardroom, and they had to take all their loot home in a paper box. That's how much they had. Anywhere from cookies to handmade art, cards from students, insulated mugs, Wildcat memorabilia. So it was a great night, and they were certainly appreciative. So our president this year is David Kincaid. Dr. Kincaid owns and operates Kincaid's Veterinary Hospital. He's been on the board since 2006. Don Newsom is our longest serving board member. Mr. Newsom has been on the board since 1999, so he has a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge about how Ponca City Public School runs. Another board member we have is Mr. Robin Riley. He was actually appointed in 2012 and finished out a 2-year term, and then he ran for election, and he's been with us actually since 2012. And then we have Judy Troop. She was elected in 2004, so she's been on the board the second longest. And Judy's a teacher, so she brings that teacher perspective to the board. And then our newly elected board member is Nancy Zimmershed, who was actually elected in 2017. So she's almost served a year. And the perspective that Nancy brings is she has an elementary student and a secondary student, so as a parent.
You have a nice mix, a really nice mix on the board.
Our board is fabulous. They really are. They're easy to work with, and they love our school and support it and really try to make the best decisions that are in the best interest of our students.
Well, and you mentioned they're elected, but they are volunteers.
That's right.
And boy, they put in a lot of time, don't they?
They do put in a lot of time. We have a monthly meeting, and then prior to our monthly meetings, we have a curriculum committee meeting, a finance, and a property committee meeting, and only 2 board members can serve on that committee to ensure that we don't have a quorum and aren't violating the Open Meetings Act. But we can present a lot of information during those committee meetings, so they spend a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, showing appreciation for the Board of Education was the start of the monthly board meeting, and then we get into the awards presentation to the employees of the month and the Friend of Education. And this is probably one of the favorite parts about the monthly Board of Education meeting.
It is. I always want to recognize the recipients of these awards because I think it's so important that we do recognize the people who support our district, go above and beyond. So the Certified Employee of the Month is one of our teachers who has teacher certification who goes above and beyond. And this month's recipient was Amy Hollingsworth. She is the librarian at Lincoln Elementary School, and she's been with the district for many years, and she's wonderful. The Support Employee of the Month for January was John Diaz. He's a member of our IT team, and he does whatever to keep us up and running with our internet and our printers or whatever. So he's a great addition to our staff. And then we have a Friend of Education, and that's someone who is not employed by the district but volunteers and does work for us. And this month's recipient was Sonia Long. and she volunteers so much at Ponca City High School, so we were happy to recognize her. Kind of a funny story. I didn't know this, but her family wanted to surprise her. So her son told her that he had a presentation to do at the board. And so she had no clue. We typically like to go to the sites and present in advance.
Yeah.
And so
that's cool.
it was cool. And her son and daughter's friends came to see her be surprised. So it was really good.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was.
Well, every month at the Board of Education meeting, representatives from one of the elementary sites come in. They make a presentation, and it was the union leader's turn to do a student presentation. Can you tell us about
That's right. And it's not just elementary. This year we try to have any student group who will volunteer come in and speak to the board. Number one, it helps the board know more about our extracurricular activities. Number two, it's good public speaking experience for our students. So this month we had the union leaders come, and it's their leadership team. They work on characteristic traits, and they just told about what they do in their community projects and their civic projects. They did a great job.
Very nice. The 31st Ponca City Leadership Project presentation was also a part of the January Board of Education meeting. And this is interesting. Can you tell us about how this is going to make its way into our kids' lives?
Each year there's a Ponca City leadership class, and I'm sure our patrons have heard about that. There's a lot of advertisement. And at the end of this leadership class, the group typically does some kind of tangible product. They may purchase something or do something civic or do some volunteer work. But this year, the 31st, it was actually last year's class, the 31st Ponca City leadership class developed a project that focused on our students. So beginning this year with our sophomores, they're going to kind of pattern a leadership group after the adult leadership group.
Wow.
They're going to accept applications from 20 of our sophomores, and they will select 20 members to be in this youth leadership class. Wow. And for a week in June, they've got an agenda so they can learn more about Ponca City, business and industry, education, everything that they do in the Ponca City adult leadership class will be provided to our youth. And then that will be 5 days in January. And then when these students are juniors, they're going to take them on a field trip to the Capitol. So I'm super excited about the opportunity for our students to learn so much about what our community has to offer and inspire them to be a leader in the community.
It's a very, very positive program. Building assessment reviews. Can you explain what exactly is that?
Okay, so each year we get testing data, and we use data throughout the year, collect formative data to make decisions regarding instruction, and we're constantly analyzing that data. And our principals come in and give a presentation to the board and tells them their current reality, where they are in their school with their students' knowledge, what their weaknesses are, what their strengths are, and then they explain their plan for school improvement and their goals and how to get there. It's a short presentation, it's about 7 minutes long, but it's good to hear from the principals rather than just us. The principals can explain what they're doing to close gaps or enrich. This week or this month, we had our Liberty principal, Jennifer Martinez, do a presentation. Rhonda Merrifield from Roosevelt Elementary presented, as did Trina Ressler, our union principal.
Oh, very nice.
So those are always interesting.
Well, it's always a hot topic at every school board meeting, not just here in Ponca City, but school board and districts across our state and across the nation. We're talking budget updates, and can you tell us about January's?
Yes, January was a good time for a budget update. We get our midterm adjustment. We got it over the break. We got it on December 22nd. And as expected, our mid-year adjustment was down $211,000 from our initial allocation. Now, that didn't surprise us. We felt like with the budget how it is at the state level, we would go down in our midterm adjustment. But even though that's bad news, the good news is our CFO, Brenda Story, actually budgeted on our receipts from last year.
Oh, fantastic.
So we budgeted low. We didn't create our budget based on proposed budget outcomes.
Right.
So actually we got to add some money back into the budget because she had budgeted
Good.
so low.
Good.
So good news and bad news there, and that's not to say that we're where we want to be
Right.
with our budget. Always we need some support like that, especially with how the legislature is how we've been cut by legislative decisions. So we're not out of the woods. We do a great job of managing our money, and our people are great stewards of our
Sure.
funds, and it's a constant struggle.
Are you saying that the key really staying on top of it and staying ahead of it, and
That's right.
not
That's right.
having bigger expectations? And
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
Wow.
So we're going to be okay. Next year, here's the thing. Things are going to happen differently at the Capitol for any school to sustain, not just Ponca City Public Schools, but
Yeah.
any school in Oklahoma.
Well, there was a very exciting part of the school board meeting. There were several of those, and one of those is really just a fantastic project. It's a resolution to promote unity and school spirit. And I don't know if you're a regular viewer of the board wrap-up show with Superintendent Arrott. Normally we have we're sitting in front of Pohai, and on the front lawn basically of Pohai, and we have the Wildcat logo behind us. There's a reason for that, and this is the reason. The resolution to promote unity and school spirit. This is pretty cool.
I'm super excited about this resolution. We kind of analyze where we are every year and what some things that we want to change that will benefit our students. And an immediate goal for this district is to eliminate any barrier so that any student can participate in any of our excellent extracurricular activities. And we have many of those, from sports to music to academic groups. We want all students to be able to participate. And when you think about tradition and pride in your school, you think about the Ponca City Wildcats. Well, we have 8 elementary schools who have a different mascot and different school colors than the Ponca City Wildcats. And I know I've been to the Wildcat Chat and told you about our Spirit Nights, which I'm really excited about.
Yes.
One site, every student and one parent get to come in free to one of our winter activities, and they get a free t-shirt. So to promote this, I go out to the sites and tell them about the Spirit Night and show them the t-shirt. And the last site I went to last Friday, I visited the site and I said, okay, so who knows what the Ponca City mascot is? And there were 440 students in that gym, and only, I would say, 20 raised their hand.
Oh, wow.
And their first guess was a lion. Their second guess was some other kind of cat. I think it was maybe a tiger. And then finally someone got the wildcat. Then when I asked them if they knew what the school colors were, oh, it was all over the place. Purple and gold, crimson and cream, black and orange. Finally someone came up with blue, and then we finally got red.
Right.
So here's the initiative. Beginning with the 2018-2019 school year, every site in the district will adopt the Wildcat as their mascot,
wonderful.
and the navy blue and red as their school colors. That should be on us if our kids aren't born and raised a Ponca City Wildcat. So beginning next year, every student moving forward will be a Ponca City Wildcat for the rest of their school years.
That makes sense, and I can think of so many positive reasons why that would make a significant impact.
Well, we've had a lot of support from the community.
Sure.
And in fact, we may have discussed this before, particularly at Wildcat Chat, but the police department is going to start using this logo just on the fender in front of their driver's side door. And in fact, Chief Bohan just sent me the first completed vehicle where they're using this logo.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, not only is it going to promote unity among our district, but unity between school and community. And I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
So, we think about why to do that. We can't expect different results if we don't make some changes, if we keep doing the same thing that we've always done.
Right.
Our principals have been super supportive. We're going to have to make some changes to some of our marquees,
Sure.
but our art teachers and art students are going to help us, and our graphic design teacher at the high school, Troy Buller, will help us with that.
Yeah.
And the board wanted to go ahead and approve this resolution so we can start planning for the 18-19 school year.
Well, and then that along, there have been a lot of projects and special trips that students have made from the high school to the elementary sites, and all of this to inspire these younger
That's
students.
right.
From the graduates walking the halls,
Right.
to the band and different athletes from the high school, and this is all a part of that, isn't it?
Well, and that's exactly what it is. We want our students to aspire to be active in
Sure.
our activities. And a lot of times, our extracurricular activities are what keeps kids in school.
And enthused.
Enthused. Exactly.
Contract for Student Information System. And what is it?
The
Student
major,
Information
the
System.
student information system is something called PowerSchool. That's the name of the company, the software that we use, and it keeps all of our student records in that. Our grade books are within PowerSchool. So that was the major contract that we approved this month. We have to approve that every year, but it also has the parent portal, and our parents can actually get a password to log in to see their students' grades and look at the information in regard to students. It has attendance, contact numbers, that kind of thing.
Very nice. The Board of Education January meeting for Ponca City Public Schools also included an executive session where a couple of things were discussed. Can you tell us about that?
Well, I can't talk to you about what we discussed in an executive
executive session,
but I can tell you what we voted upon after, or our board did.
Absolutely.
We did not give a step raise to our employees this year. With the budget as it is, and not knowing what the legislature was going to do in special session,
Right.
we held off to see what was going to happen and to see what our initial and mid-year allocation would be. But based on some of the proactiveness with our budget and how we've budgeted, we were able to give our employees who qualified for a step a one-time stipend. So it's not a reoccurring
Right.
compensation piece, but it is a one-time stipend. And the board voted to approve that for our teachers and 12-month support who have worked for us 120 days. They're going to qualify for a $900 one-time stipend.
Fantastic.
So not everyone will get one. All of our teachers will. Our support who qualify will get one. And then if they are like a part-time employee, let's say they work for us 60%,
Sure.
that stipend will be prorated.
Oh, fantastic.
So that should be out to our employees who qualify by direct deposit next Wednesday.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I know.
That is great
I've gotten
news.
so many emails. It's been really exciting. They're really excited about it.
Well, that makes a significant difference.
Oftentimes when you get a step, it is, it's spread over 12 months, and by the time the taxes come out, you don't hardly realize it. So this will be a one-time, one lump sum if somebody needs to
Right.
help pay off Christmas or
Sure.
purchase a piece of furniture or
Right.
get their car repaired or something like that. It'll be great for our employees.
That's a blessing. All right. Well, also the superintendent's contract ratified was part of the
That
deal.
happens every
That's you.
January. And I just got hired in June and
Sure.
began July 1. So I thought, how did that come up so
That was
quick?
quick.
It was
That
only
was
6
fast.
months. But
Right.
but the contract does run from July 1 to June 30th. My contract was ratified again for next year, and in fact, they approved a 3-year contract. So I was super excited. I am loving this job, and we have a great district.
Yeah.
Great board, great staff, great students.
Well, there's a lot of folks that are excited, you being the superintendent, and have just nothing but glowing words for Superintendent
Oh, that's
Arrott.
really
So,
nice. The community's been so supportive, and
Yeah.
so has our staff.
Yeah, absolutely. Superintendent Shelley Arrott, our guest every month on the Board Wrap-Up Show. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of the Board Wrap-Up Show for Ponca City Public Schools and for Superintendent Arrott. I'm Sean Anderson, and thank you for watching.